We are 30 minutes late. We would like to extend our apology to especially the stakeholders who were expected to start with us at 10. Let me just welcome everybody for this first session, where we are going to deal with the petition that relate to the Franklin residents. Maybe at the onset, let me start by welcoming the petitioners and welcome the honorable members. Welcome the honorable members who are joining us virtually. I did receive an apology from Honorable Tele that she will join us virtually because of other work commitments. For the purposes of this meeting, because there's another meeting that we are expecting the community and stakeholders to join us, but this one only relates to the issue of Franklin petition. But I will acknowledge the honorable members that are here. Mama Unchangase, no Baba Umpele. I saw Honorable Chiliza as well. I think he's outside with the phone. Let me also welcome the legislature team, but also welcome the municipality of Greater Kokstad, led by the acting municipal manager, Mr. Ketzi, and your team. I think it will be proper, honorable members, that we start by sincerely apologizing to the petitioners. We are aware, maybe let me introduce myself. I'm Sfiso Sonjit. I'm the chairperson of the Standing Committee on public participation and petitions. We are aware that this is not a new issue of Franklin, it's an old issue. And we are told some of the people who started with the issue are no longer with us. We really send our condolences as well to you and his family. We are aware that this is an old issue. The committee has dealt with this issue. When we started in 2019, we were made aware of where the progress or where the issues were, and we took the matters forward. We would have came back much earlier to report, but because of the COVID-19 situations, we found ourselves not able to travel, and that's. We then thought, look, let's proceed and give the report, because we have engaged to and from with the municipality, and the committee came to a decision that what was left was the municipality to report to people who wrote us a petition, because we were then satisfied that what the municipality was telling us, that matters were being resolved, because our role really is to get everyone else around the table to solve problems. So that's a reason why we asked the municipality to be here this morning and see you first before we see the stakeholders. So what I'm going to ask we do, so that we minimize time as well, so that we don't eat into the next meeting, is to ask the municipality. The acting MM will tell us who's going to report. We will then give you, as petitioners, to respond. You will then introduce yourself at that point, so that we know who's here, what we are dealing with. So the MM will introduce whoever that will probably give us the report. We will then allow you to respond because we will want to either confirm or deny what the municipality would be saying, and then we'll take the process forward. So at that point, I will then ask you to just tell us who you are as people who represent the petitioners. We also want to acknowledge that the municipality manager actually went to Franklin because there was miscommunication about where the meeting is. So that's why they literally started in Franklin, and we really want to send our apology as well, Mr. MM. Probably there was miscommunication about the venue, and there was no intention that you drive all the long way and come back. So let me allow you then to introduce your team and proceed with the report, and then we allow the petitioners to respond. Thanks. Angazi ke ngotatasensa lo na umpapa.
A very good morning to the members of the legislature and also the councillors present, the community from Franklin. You are all welcomed to Bhongweni Youth Center. My name is Thando Mketsu, the acting municipal manager for Greater Kokstad. I'm with Councillor Nguza and also Councillor Mayeza. Then we have Mr. Shazi, who's our IDP manager. That's the team that I'm leading today. In terms of the progress of the petition that was submitted, the municipality with the Transnet will remember that we had requested Transnet to transfer those properties to the municipality, which a communication was received, which they had agreed to transfer those properties. However, the transfer is not yet complete because of other processes that we need to go through. One, the transfer has been launched with the Surveyor General. However, for a transfer to be complete, there is a communication that must come from the Department of Rural Development, where they agree that the property must be transferred or registered with the deeds office. Currently, that area has been subdivided. It's the subdivision that we need to register with the Surveyor General, which will allow the transfer to be complete. The Department of Rural Development had required that the property be subdivided, which we have done. However, in terms of the law that they were quoting, which we did disagree with them, was that they need to give us a consent for the subdivision, which when we wrote back to them, we did tell them that as the organ of state, we are not required to go to such a process. As per section 70 of the section 70 of 70. So that is where currently the status of transfer of those properties is standing. we are also aware that the community or the tenants of those properties had requested the municipality to renovate those houses. And before we can do that, we had also communicated that there needs to be a valid lease agreement between the tenant and the landlord, which the tenant in this case is Greater Kokstad Municipality. I can confirm that the lease agreements were signed for the 34 properties in 2019, and we are collecting rental from those properties. We then requested the Department of Human Settlement to give us a funding to renovate those properties. That request was communicated with the department in November last year. However, the Department of Human Settlement is saying that they cannot make a funding available if the transfer of those properties is not yet complete. So that is what is standing between the renovation of those properties, is to get those properties to be fully transferred, completely transferred to the Greater Kokstad Municipality, so that we can then be in a they can then be in a position to make funding available for the renovation of those properties. In the meantime, the municipality had sat down and we discussed that we will do the minor renovations to those properties so that we can make those properties to be livable, which the budget did not allow us in 2020-2021 financial year, which it will be budgeted for in 2021-2022 financial year for the minor renovations of those properties, whilst we are still waiting for the funding to be available from the Department of Human Settlement. Also, Chair, there are other tenants who have not renewed their leases for the occupation of those properties. I think there's about 10 of those properties that lease agreements have not been renewed, which in that case, the credit control of the municipality will then kick in terms of collecting rental from those properties. We are collecting plus minus 46,000 rand per month from all of those 34 properties. I think, Chair, that is where currently we are standing, which as soon as we get the consent from the Department of Rural Development, we'll then send it to the Surveyor General, who will then register all those properties or register the subdivision of all those properties. Once that is done, we'll then be in a position to go back to the Department of Human Settlement to request the funding to be made available for its renovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll leave it to the petitioners. Just to cacisa abantu bakuthi ngiyabona sekufike nabanye, I'm sure for the next meeting. You are welcome to sit in nimamele. Kodwa besinomunye umhlangano esiqale ngawo othinta udaba oluthile oluthinta abahlali base-Franklin. So ndenzela ukuthi ningathi labantu baqhuba sizoqala kakuhle umhlangano wethu lo munye olandelayo. So kunawudaba nje bekufanele sidlule kulona, but aluthi niphumele ngaphandle kuba udaba lomphakathi as well. I'm worried nje uthi no, we are collecting rentals but asikwazi ukuyilungisa le mizi. Futhi sizobabopha bangabhatali. Kodwa I'll leave that to the petitioners, because it's not. I don't know. Honorable Ncama, welcome. Bengikubonile ngasho ukuthi mhlambe niseseyingcingweni. It's not the last meeting we had with the municipality. This is a new thing that you are collecting rent, but probably the residents will tell us, because the last report we had, things were sorted between yourselves and the petitioners. This part that you are correcting rentals, but you are unable to make those houses livable. It's a new matter that it's probably it might create problems for us as a committee, but we'll deal with it when it comes, because it's not an issue for this meeting. What we wanted to deal with today was whether the municipality and the petitioners have found each other. There was an issue of who owns the property and all that. So if we can get a response from the petitioners, from what Aseg reported, may briefly, not just to tell us what your background understanding, the petition, because now I understand, so that you then say, look, NAS isn't enough with the municipality, and then where are the issues? We will take up some of the issues that I think are concerning from our side, from the municipality, what the municipality is reporting. We can take those issues up with the municipality at a later stage. So let me allow, I don't know who amongst yourselves is going to deal with that. If you may just indicate who you, the delegation and who's here, then so that we also have that on record.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and your delegates, councillors, and everybody. My name is Nombe Kongwaju. I'm working at Franklin. I'm staying in the municipal houses, Spornet ones. I'm with Mr. Dindi and Miss Elaine. They are also staying in the municipal houses. As far as I know, we haven't seen anything made to the houses by the municipality. The only thing that we had to accept that we must sign the lease agreement. We had no choice. We're working there, we're staying there. So we signed the lease agreements. So we agree. I will say we agreed on that we must sign the lease agreements. And then, yeah, we are paying. Those that are paying are paying. Those that they do not pay, the lights are being switched off. So there are dark houses in Kokstad in Franklin without electricity because of non-payment of the rental that we are paying. To mention few of the houses, it's Mr. Dave's house. Mr. Dave is maybe 65. He is a pensioner. He doesn't have any income. Like us that are working, if you see Mr. Dave, there's no way that you cannot give him 50 rand so that he can buy things for the family. He's staying in the dark house. And there are few, there are more, as the MM was saying, maybe 10 of the houses. Yeah, they don't have electricity. With the renovations, I haven't seen any even minor renovations. Like my one now, the toilet is leaking, it's broken. It was like that before I go into the house. It's so much that I wrote a letter to the municipality asking if there is anyone moving from the better ones I will be very happy to move into that house. I do have pictures of the toilet. What else, Kanene, did I didn't mention? Yeah, it's still like that. We are paying rent. It's increasing each and every year. If you don't pay, you don't have lights. We didn't have a meeting with the like municipality or a feedback was. I think they're supposed to let us know we've gone so far. We cannot do 1 and 2 because of 3 and 4. We didn't have those meetings. This is the honest truth. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Any additions, or we're fine?
I just want to say good day to everybody, and so grateful that the legislature is here today. I don't know. And very grateful that the legislator has come here today. And maybe we can just get feedback of what is happening in Franklin. It is a sad day in Franklin. We're living in houses that are falling on top of us. I don't think we can go back to the municipality and complain. I can tell you right now, I'm moving. I want to move out. I cannot stay there any longer because a quarter of my house is gone. The roof is gone. So if you come to my house, the whole quarter of the house is gone. So, but you come and you tell us to please come in and sign a lease for an increase of rent. We don't have a problem. But how do we do it when you're living in a house that is going to fall on top of it? What if I die? What if the house falls and kills me? What is my children going to say? Besides that, why put 10% increase and yet you haven't even tried to fix?
Your mic, but it's...
But why even put the 10%? If you're saying that this is the situation, the houses haven't been transferred to you, don't make the people live so bad. The people that live there are the poorest of the poor. Why still add a 10% when you haven't even tried to fix? We live in a very cold area. The pipes are leaking. We've got to pay a plumber. I'm a pensioner. Get a plumber to come and fix the pipe. 250 rand. I'm a pensioner. Okay? He fixes it today. 2 days, the same pipe bursts because of Franklin being so cold. It is sad. It is so sad. Surely to God, just think of the people. Now we got a problem there where there's people put in shacks. This is the saddest thing I've ever known. People are put into shacks there. No toilet, no water. How do you do that? How do you do that? Amongst these houses, next door, neighbors. Why do that? Why do that? It's a sad day in Franklin, guys. It's so sad. I've packed my boxes and I'm ready to move out. You cannot live like that. We are paying over 2,000 rand a month rent there. Just treat us like human beings. We're South African citizens. I've been there for 16 years. The pipes are leaking. You go to Gert and say, can you come and help me? I'm sorry, I can't. It's not my job. So what do? Pay a plumber to come and fix these pipes? The geyser burst, we fix it. I do understand it's in the house. It is our duty to fix. But outside, guys, we are living outside in those houses. It's not just my house. It's all of the houses. You know the same thing, if you guys are going to come and fix, it's going to cost you millions to fix it. Millions. I don't know how you're going to do it. Really, really. I just want to say thank you to guys. Thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nkosi. Now, because the committee has really dealt with this issue, I think there are new issues, because maybe the clarity that I will seek from the municipality. Oh, welcome, councillors. My apologies. There was no indication that you have arrived. Siyabonga ukuthi nibe nathi kulo mhlangano niyoza kwethuke nina, because thina nathi siyavotelwa asifaka ama-CV, so we were in the same boat with you. If things go wrong with the communities, for some reason they don't say the MPL or the municipal manager, they say the councillor. That's why I feel for councillors, because they get blamed for everything that goes wrong. And when things go right, it's those who put CVs and who are educated to get all the praises that things are going right. Us who are voted for, we are blamed only when things are not well. Thanks for what I just wanted to check from the municipality. Are these lease issues? Because we all agree everyone must pay for water and lights. I mean, there's no qualms about that. Everyone must pay for water and lights. But I'm saying we will have to get a clarity because this lease issue, it was reported as accepted, and I hear where you are coming from, Sisinombe, Vele, if you stay in somebody's property, you might be forced to lease that property. But I hear the about the budgets and all that, and the threats that, I mean, if you don't pay lights, probably it's granted. But to what extent is the municipality, because I'm worried about when you say to me, no, you'll pay because this property is not mine either. So the responsibility is probably still with the municipality or Transnet to maintain those houses. Because if they were individual houses, we wouldn't be here. We would be talking a different story, because we don't expect somebody to fix your house. So I'm saying the difficulty that I have now is that the residents are probably not able to invest in improving those properties anyway, because they don't own those properties. There's a risk as well. You can do improvements and the municipality turns around and says, no, but it's not your property, by the way. So I'm saying maybe we need clarity there. It's a new issue for this petition, but it's better that we clarify it and see how best we can resolve it going forward. But also the issue of pensioners. I think it will then talk to your indigent policy. How is the municipality handling that? Because there's law, and I know this municipality is led by the same government that the same party that. So I know it's a government policy that there's an indigent policy, which I think the municipality will have to then apply that policy, because it's law of the country. It's not something that the municipality decide to do when they like. It's law. So they will have to look at their policy and see who is affected in that area. As I'm saying, these are new issues in terms of the petition, but it's better that we clarify them now so that we live here with an understanding that the bigger issue is resolved in terms of who owns the property. Now the property is owned by the municipality. There are legal paperwork that the municipality needs to deal with, which is granted. But I think in terms of what the committee got from the municipality, it's now accepted that that bigger part is resolved. But going forward, we will have to then, because we also an oversight body, we will want to know. It's not good enough that no properties are transferred and that's it, and you leave our people probably in a worse scenario than they were. So I think those are issues that I would want us to clarify. And then if we clarify that and agree on the timelines on what is doable now, and then we close this petition, because but we will have to deal with that issues that are worrying me, because if there are people who are pensioners and are sitting in the dark, and yet there are policies that addresses that, it seems to me there's something that we might want to deal with as a municipality. But it seems to me the community wants to accept that the municipality, there is some responsibilities that they have as a community, but there are responsibilities that are not theirs, the municipality must deal with. So you see, sometimes you get communities who literally don't want to pay, who outright say we are not going to pay. You have a community that says, no, we are paying. Those of us who can pay, we are paying, but the municipality is not coming to the party in terms of what they need to do. So that to me would be an issue that we need to deal with, and so that we close this petition in a spirit that I think the gentleman who started this process, for even the municipality to be able to get to a point where they really talk to Transnet, which was Spornet then, but because the issues were worse, because the municipality was really not talking to the Transnet in reality until there was that petition. So I think we have moved, but we might want them to say, what next, so that our communities, we don't push them. I mean, Ms. Ellen, you might have an option to move out, but some of your neighbors do not have even that option. That's where they've been for the rest of their life. That's where they will probably die. So, but also you don't want to go because it's conditions that are pushing you to go, because probably your life is all there, but the conditions. I don't think that's a government that we want. We want government that cares, that says, look, how do we meet you where we can? Where there are challenges, and councillors, and I think we say this every time. You see, we think our people like banning things, toying. It's wrong to ban things, but also we're not communicating to them. We need to find time to say to them, look, that's where the problems are, and that's how we're trying to resolve them. Because sometimes communication goes a long way. Just to say, we are aware of the problem, and we think by this time we'll deal with it. But just to not say anything to communities, it's wrong. We do not accept it. Because that's where the problems start, and the anger boils, and things get out of the way. You then find criminals taking advantage of the community anger. So that's where we just, as the oversight body, we really say it's better to go and communicate to the communities, no matter how, because we don't have unlimited resources. But let's say to people, look, there is something that we are doing. Don't wait for the legislature to come here and then let's say to us, look, we're battling with budgets and all that, because that, to me, it's taking easy way out, because this community, how others will know, they will know that there is. I remember the mayor was there recently. I was with the mayor recently in Franklin. He was talking about the ITP and all that recently, about a month or two ago, and the hall was packed. And I thought that's what's important as well, that the communities also participate in those meetings, so that you get to understand where the resources of the municipalities are going, and then you can fight your way. Say, no, look, we have been neglected for a long time. We can't be pushed back every year. There is a budget process. But let me allow the to respond, and then we take it. And then I will allow the members to make comments. We close this chapter of this petition. Thanks, sir.
No, thanks, Chair. Let me start with the issue of pensioners. Yes, I would agree with you, Chair. There is a policy in terms of indigent households, which, for instance, currently the Greater Kokstad offers 100% of municipal services in terms of indigent. It's not 50%, it's not 60%, it's 100%. Which I think the issues that are raised in terms of pensioners that are occupying those houses, those, I think what we will request would be for the pensioners who qualify in terms of our policy to apply to the municipality, then that will then be taken care of through that process. That's an easy one that we can deal with it even on Monday. There's nothing more that I can say in terms of that. The issue of the renovations, Chair, as I've mentioned on my presentation earlier on, that we did do the assessment in all those properties. That's the assessment that made us to go to human settlement and ask for funding to renovate those houses, because we knew that with the municipalities' funds, it would not be enough. We want municipality that is not grant dependent. Most of our revenue comes from the community of Kokstad through property rates and other services that the municipality is charging. But Chair, I hear that some of these houses are not livable. Half of the house it's dilapidated, which that on its own, our building control should have brought that into our attention as the municipality, so that people don't occupy such houses, because it's also a risk on its own. We will, in the 2021-2022 financial year, budget for those houses. We will understand, Chair, this financial year or the previous financial year has put a strain in terms of our budget through the pandemic that we have now, which is COVID-19. The lease agreements for those houses were signed in 2018-2019, which is the previous 2018-19, 2019-20, which is now it's two years. And as I reported, the amount that we collect there, on its own, if we were to reinforce that, reinforce that amount, it would not even do 10% of the renovations that are needed in those houses. But what I can say is that as we have committed as a municipality, that the minor things that needs to be done whilst we are in a process of waiting for the human settlement to make funding available, we will rectify those issues in terms of those houses. Again, Chair, the reason why we had to have a lease agreement, now that those properties have been transferred to the municipality, which again, not full 100% complete, it's a letter from Transnet saying that yes, we're handing over the houses to the municipality. The issue of transfer now as a legal process, it's not yet been complete, which that on its own, it's what is holding the funding from human settlement. Human settlement wants those properties to be transferred legally to Greater Kokstad municipality so that they can make the funding available. But we are not saying that we're waiting for that to happen when it happens, which we don't know also. We will rectify those houses, those minor challenges that you have as the occupants or tenants of those houses. As Greater Kokstad municipality, it is not in our great interest to own those houses. Once the process of transfer has been completed through legal process, then the council will take a decision, what does it do with those houses? Because that is a township on its own. We can't own a township as the municipality. The issue, Chair, I think what we will do again, we'll send back our team from infrastructure side to go do the assessment and see whether, as we go to the adjustment budget, whether the council cannot make funds available to touch on those minor things. But that alone, I'm saying here, without authority, something that we're going to put to the council, and the council will then have to deliberate on that and then take a resolution whether do they make funds available, are there funds available again. As I'm saying that today we're almost at the half of the financial year. If I were to go back to my records and look at whether in terms of our performance, where are we sitting in terms of revenue collection, it will tell us something else. Our revenue from last year, if you compare it with where we are today, there's a decline of about 20% on that. So I'm saying, Chair, we'll take that back. We will see if we can do anything come February when we pass our adjustment budget. We'll see if the council cannot put anything on the table for us to start those renovations, looking at major issues that we will then need to make those houses livable. In terms of communication, Chair, again, I must accept that as the institution, we need to do better, which I think the department that deals with our properties, which is the Department of Economic Development and Spatial Planning, I will instruct them that on quarterly basis, if the matter has not been finalized, they will have to go back to the tenants and make a report of a status quo of where we are in terms of the process. The issue of sanitation and water, again, that is not Greater Kokstad responsibility. However, I will communicate with the district municipality to see what is it that they can be done. I know, for instance, there are projects that are taking place in Franklin currently in terms of water and sanitation, which will put this as one of the urgent things that will need to be addressed by the district municipality. I think, Chair, I've covered most of the issues that have been raised. Thanks,
Ma'am, and I think you've covered all the issues. Just something that you might want to consider is the term of this lease, because it might that an individual has money to do some of the renovations, but it also related to how long is the lease. I mean, if I've got a 1-year lease, why would I invest in the property? I'm just saying that's another concept, something that we might consider as municipality, because that also impacts in terms of how much money I can put into that property. If it's a short lease, it's too risky for an individual to even if they could afford to do things. But if it's a shorter, I'll also not want to put money into something that I do not know what's the future of that, of me staying there. And if I'm going to be kicked out in a year or two, and then I put my money into it, it becomes a bit of a challenge. I'm just saying it's something that you might engage the residents as well on it, unless you want to comment on it.
No, I think, Chair, that we will consider. That we will consider in terms of the lease term. Currently, I think it runs for 12 months, which is 1 year. Then it gets renewed in the next financial year. Which I think the reason that why we did not want it to be a long term, it's based on the processes that we embark on. As I've mentioned earlier on, that it is not in our interest as Greater Kokstad Municipality to own those properties. There will come a time where a process will be undertaken in terms of disposing those, following again a process that is legislated in terms of our Municipal Financial Management Act. But I think we can work around some other issues in terms of not putting a burden to the tenants of fixing those minor renovations now, then the following year he is then told to vacate the property. So we'll work around, as I'm saying, We'll send a team to go do the assessment. Then from that assessment, it's the assessment that will also inform us as we go to the adjustment budget. What is needed in terms of funds? How much are we going to be in a position to put aside for those? Thanks.
No, thanks. I think that for me, I'm satisfied with that response. Because it says at least there's some work that the municipality will do. The residents must do their part, but the municipality must do what it's their share. And I know you have a very active mayor here who really goes out to the communities, and I think we'll find a solution. Hopefully before the Ms. Ellen leaves. But let me allow Sis Nombego to then comment. Then I'm going to allow one or two members because it's not really a meeting about this petition. It was really to report back. So it would be the members. I'll just allow them to make comments. Then we move quickly to our next meeting.
Thank you very much, Mr. MM, for your response. We're looking forward to see that happen. So now we've waited for so long, as Elaine was stating that she stayed in the house for 16, other 20, other 35. So I'm worried about this thing of rent a new guy. Because you cannot, like, we landlord unyuse rent tenant yathi nansi storage phambi kwendlu yami ihamba apha phambi kwami, but still unyuse rental. I'm really worried about that. Not for me, I'm here for the community. I'm really worried. And these minor renovations that the MM is talking about, we've got major renovations that need to be done there. Like I so wish one can go there. The sewerage is going straight, right straight in my kitchen door. I want to show somebody my one. Thank you.
Let me allow Honorable Mngango to make comments because I think we will find a solution.
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. Thanks, MM, for your presentation and members. Look, Chairperson, I hear that you are eager that we find a solution. I'm sorry, I'm having serious concern. We received this petition February 2018. We came here, I'm not sure who was with us in that meeting. We came here, Chairperson, 27th of June 2018 as a committee here. Now, the issues raised by petitioners were around the fact that Transnet was maintaining houses. Municipality took over. They failed to maintain houses. That was the petition. Now, we are sitting today. We are still arguing the same issue. So many years, as we talk now, the administration that made those commitments, they will be ending their term by next year. So, which means if they can't resolve these issues by August 2021, trust me, we will have a new government or new people in administration after elections. We'll start again. If the same administration can come today, still making same things. You see, Chair, if you can go back to record that meeting, because I was there, the issue about pensioners was raised then. The mayor was in that meeting. There was a commitment, Chairperson, that the municipality will go there, identify pensioners, and ensure they are assisted. But today, the MM come and tell us they're still going to do that after 2 years. I don't believe, Chairperson, we can sit here and listen to that. Then the issue of a budget. There was an issue of a budget. When we were here, there was a commitment, Chairperson, that I think it was 2019, 2020 budget, they promised to allocate money to deal with renovations in this village. But today we're hearing the MM telling us they will budget on 2020-21 budget. What is that? We can't sit here, Chairperson, and really play games. I'm really just worried now because, again, the MM says they will send a team on the ground to see what can be done, etc., in terms of technical team. The same commitment was made. We can go back to records. So my question is, Chair, how long it takes a municipality to resolve these issues? We even said at that time, legislature can always assist in ensuring that housing departments getting involved. And there was a commitment that there will be a task team from the municipality meeting with the housing department to try and resolve this issue. Now, the big question is, what has happened since then? Why till today we're now sitting here as if it's a new issue? We're doing the issue again. Angadlalwa ngathi bakithi. Angikwazi uphinde sibuyele the same thing. Mina hlalo engikucelayo ukuthi umasipala awuresolve lento le before kuphela le term. Ngoma ukuphela le term bengaresolvile. Trust me, we'll go back to square one. Umlomo uyadala. We can sit here sikhulume, but the action is what is required at the moment. Thanks.
Thanks, Honorable Ngango. My apologies. I did not recognize Honorable Rashpanse that she's also joining us on Teams. I see your hands is up, Honorable Rashpanse. You can raise your points and welcome to the meeting.
Yes, Honorable Chair. I just want to say that this is a very long outstanding issue. And as Honorable Zukele is saying...
Well, Honorable Rashpanse, they are sorting out things. We just cannot hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better now?
Hold on, Honorable Rashpanse. Hold on.
Yeah.
We can see we are talking. We can't hear you. Can we allow the technical people to assist us, please?
Okay. All right.
Honorable Francis, they say you can now proceed. Hopefully we can all hear you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. Can you hear me?
Try again.
Can you hear me, Honorable Chair?
We can hear you now. Thank you very much.
All right, this is an ongoing issue, and Honorable Zwakele is right. It's every meeting we attend is a repetition of the same thing, and it's not, it's very unfair to those residents now. And I hear the pleas of the residents. So I think that what is more important, because these are legal transactions and contracts that we have to look at, I don't know whether the legal advisor for the municipality is present, because I was surprised that the MM, I don't know how far the municipality is from these homes, but he seemed to be wanting to still visit this place. And I would have thought that, he's rightfully saying that if houses are not fit for human living, then it has to be renovated. but obviously he should have visited before we could even have this meeting. So I'm worrying about the intentions and the good faith of different stakeholders. But I think where we need to look at now is the actual contracts, whether it's from and what are the clauses in the contract as to if you are transferring houses from Transnet to the municipality, which is working with human settlements, where in that process is the responsibility of who's going to take the actual responsibility for the repairs or the renovations, because obviously it's going to land on the table of either human settlements or or the municipality, and wherever it's going to land, that will be indicated in the contract, because obviously Transnet is going to hand over those properties foots toots, which means that as it is, they're not going to repair it. I don't think so. So therefore, we can't carry on passing the buck from one to the other. It has to be put in the contract, the sale contract, and in the contract it has to state who's taking this responsibility of the renovations, and then the uses the contract to pass it through a budget in the municipality. So I think that we have to really ask them to produce this contract so that we don't carry on speaking about issues and repeating ourselves, because I think it now boils down to the exact legal procedure. And if we can get the procedure right, then we know whose responsibility it's going to be and who is going to have to budget. And, we can then assist as a committee in a better way to finalize this matter. But thank you, Honorable Chair, for giving me this opportunity to make an input. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Rashbanse. We could hear, we couldn't hear, but I think we got the gist of what you are raising. Just want to make a proposal. Honorable members are not. Honorable Theresa is raising his hand, because I think we will have to find a way of the way forward. Otherwise, we'll be going around circles.
Thank you, Slalo. Greetings to everyone in the house, especially the community. Slalo, unfortunately, Slalo, I could hardly hear Honorable Rashbanse. But as much as I agree, Slalo, that the matter has taken too long now. But I think a commitment made by the municipality now, I trust that will happen as they promised. Because if now I don't take a concern lightly, this matter has taken too long now. That is the reality, But here we are today, after that so long time. And here's the commitment made. Here's the commitment made by the municipality. Oh,
is on the floor.
Thank you, Slan. So I think maybe, or let me say, I suggest that as much as we agree that it's taken long, and which was not right, we all agree on that. But a commitment, if it's accepted by the stakeholders here, I think we have to give them a chance to do that, and hoping that we are not going to come back again and say, you promised this, but you did not do it. Because the people concerned here is the stakeholders, people who are living there, and if they agree with that, I suggest we give that some space to take place. Because even if MM now, So singathi siyambethela manje. But sekwenzekile okwenzekile. Let's move forward now. Let's correct the situation. Let's correct what is wrong now. That's my suggestion. Thank you. Based on the commitment made by the municipality.
Thanks, can I make suggestions that
Chair,
will move
my
us
hand
forward?
has been up
Take
for a
into
while
account all
now.
the concerns that are raised by members. Let's put timelines,
Chair.
ma'am. This is going to assist us. For example, it does not make sense to me why I transfer from government to government when it's so easy to transfer. I mean, when I buy a bonded house and I say to the attorneys, when you buy your house, it gets transferred. It doesn't take 3 years. So I'm just saying, those are the issues that as government we must be concerned about and be very irritated that if it's government to government, it can take another 10 years just to transfer property. But when government trade with the private sector, those transfers are done. I mean, if government buys land from a private individual, that land gets transferred to government. And we know, I mean, we can't be educated about such things because those are transitions that you do every day on a MM. So I'm saying, let's have some sense of comfort as this committee, because we'll have to go to visit this houses, honorable members. I think the best way is for us to go and visit these houses. So we will have to do that. One of the resolutions that I'm proposing is that we, as a committee, we go there. We will find time. I hope our team is they're noting that we will have to find time immediately when we start the new year. I mean, not the financial year, the new year, which is 2021. So we go there as a committee so that we are able to see ourselves what's happening there. That's one. Two, we will want to see something that we don't hear about. We want to see a discussion between the municipality and the Provincial Department of Human Settlements. Because it's not going to be a phone call to you by you, MM, or the mayor to the MEC, or you to the HOT. There must be some formal engagements that we are able to produce in the form of letters that says, look, we are engaging. Because I know that the Department of Human Settlements have a different categories of money. It is so you will probably find money to do this thing, because I mean, I don't think Transnet will reverse that these houses are now in the name of the municipalities. I think in reality it's just technicalities that are between the bureaucrats. When I started my council, problem bureaucrats will have these things, and come 2021 August lo show umnqangu kuzobe kuthiwa amakhansela awasebenzanga. Kanti ama-bureaucrats are not doing what they're supposed to do. It's simple things. You can't have transfer of property that takes 10 years. That's, for me, it just does not make sense. And I know that we're sitting with a problem in the human settlement today of houses that were built in 1994, 95, that are not transferred because someone in government was sleeping. So we are the unfortunate part is that we are a government that doesn't want to sleep. We are going to be doing out what we are supposed to do. It's oversight, and people must account for their actions. So the second proposal is that we want the municipality to engage with the Department of Human Settlement and see what are the other alternatives of helping this community, because I'm convinced there are alternatives, that the solutions must be found between the municipality and the Department of Human Settlements. And we will want to find evidence of those engagements between yourselves and the Department of Human Settlements. So we're going to correspond with the municipality in terms of the deadlines and all that, so that we will then follow up on the commitments that the municipality has made today. So we are making an undertaking as the committee that we will visit that community early in January so that we see what's happening on the ground. And then we will probably engage with our sister committees, especially the human settlement, to see what is their role they can play in that area. So I think that for me, for now, because we might talk until 12 midnight, but we will not be going anywhere. We understand our problems, but we think these problems can be solved. Some of them are really need to be solved now. Because I mean, if honestly we say our people must stay with sewer, and we think it's a problem that we can postpone, it's not right. Because what happens to my house, I would probably not want to live in a house that has a sewer that's running. Yet I'm paying. Might not be paying a lot of money, but I'm paying. So I'm suggesting that we do that. And we welcome Honorable Tele, who has joined us. I did indicate earlier on that she was going to join us online. Welcome, Honorable Tele. I'm tempted to try and close, but I see Honorable Tiliza wants to say, so let me just say, so that I don't get accused if there are another hand that will want to say something. Then you'll be the last, my brother, because I just want to move. You see, kunabantu abahlelana engikwaziyo ukuthi beze kulo mhlangano olandelayo, and so bayasibuka nje sithetha ngezinto abangazaziyo ukuthi kuzothethwa ngani bona bazele enye meeting. So ngenzela ukuthi nabo sibacingela ukuthi beze komunye umhlangano as well. Honorable Chilisa. Then you will be last on this issue.
No, thank you, Slalo. I'm sorry just to take you back a little bit, Slalo. Slalo, I'm also concerned about the umama who spoke about the sewer splitting into her kitchen door. I'm interested, but I don't think that will take time, Slalo. If they talk about minor issues, minor items they're going to fix municipality, I think that must make clear to them what are those, so that when you live here, because to me, a sewer can be minor or major, but it has to be fixed. So I just want Slalo to request, maybe even if they don't respond here, but I want them to specify to them what are those that they are going to fix, so that we understand that those minor but also major, I see them major, are going to be fixed. Thank you, Slalo.
Uzoba ugqibela kulolu daba.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Mr. Dindikazi from Franklin community. I'm not going to waste the time of this meeting, but I would like to suggest, since I've been staying there in 2005, there's a lot of things, like my sister was saying, of things that are not right in the houses, but I will ask that the municipality I will ask municipality to, since municipality said the houses are not officially transferred from Transnet to municipality, if they can do that, because we are asking to have those houses, to buy those houses, because we've been staying there for a long time and been repairing some of the things in the houses. And I would also ask the municipality to inform us as the committee members of Franklin of any things that are happening there, to like in the transfer of those houses, everything that is happening, but they must inform us as committee or as the committee of the Franklin community. Thank you.
I think we got a commitment from Guti, the communication would be improved. I think we part of that commitment must then be a ward councillor also. That is properly briefed on the developments, because the officials can't be there every day. Councillor must be there, so that but must have answers as well, because councillor can be there, but if he doesn't have information answers, because information is obenganayo. So I think we must rope in the councillor of the ward as well, so that we have that interaction between the ward councillor and that's why I'm saying what is disturbing me is that I went there. There was IDP meeting there, because this community also can't be an island. They live in a ward. So I'm saying we need to then remind them they're also not in an island. They live in a ward of Greater Kokstad. Was it Ward 8? What? Ward 2. Yes, because I remember I was there with Councillor Mtolo not long ago. So I'm saying they also, some of the issues, their issues are not different from the community that they live in as well. So I'm saying, whilst we want to, because they have a petition that because their situation was different in terms of the ownership of the properties. But I'm saying, let's integrate them as well, because some of the issues, you see, if you go and deal with only their issues and there are similar issues next door, you are starting a problem as well as a municipality. So let's integrate them to the greater community of Ward 2 and see how then we assist. And I agree. Because they represent the community. So the problem might not only be in Ndlake, it might be West houses. So the idea is that let's have empathy. Let's go there and see what's doable in the short term. What is not doable, then is doable in the long term. So that we engage everyone. But ngizotetela ukansela cha bese ndiyayivala lo mhlangano siqale our next meeting, because ukansela yena so ke mina naye sicela amavoti kubantu.
Bonke Chairperson. So ukansela uthethayo. Chairperson, communities is Yalotela IDP has attended one. Has not attended community meeting with IDP. Because go IDP la pok raise issues the ward. So about report is the issue so si reporter same day because they can complain Gwala ukho ukhanyisa Greater Kokstad as Gwala sa reporter kuyiwe kuyosolve issue. So about report because we IDP sifakile yakase Gwala yase Gwala this year business IDP nge 24 last month. So ifakiwe into yesuwa because we old pipe in Franklin is whole Franklin. It's the problem yesuwa. Then next 20 budget 2021-2022 is to solve into yesuwa Franklin. Is same a month as a Franklin. So bona community Asia bayazi khetha kwi community yase Franklin aba attend meeting because lapho sisolve khona issues ne complain ezikhona is a Franklin ku Ward 2. So bona funa ba report ku councillor bayamazi because sikwazi ukusolve issue yakhe uNombeko. Yes injalo nje because maba report because nekhona complain. Ukhanyisa ukhona base Gwala apha eGreater Kokstad. so report because igona isuwa izo-attendwa kwi-budget yaseGwala 2021-22 kuyotshintshwa amapipe because kwamapipe amadala. Thank you.
No, I'm not going to be. No. We are going to be tempted to have dialogues, and that's how we do not resolve meetings and problems that way. Because dialogue, and I've already indicated that the reason we called you in as Franklin, it's because there was a petition, and that's what we are dealing with, so that we close that petition. But it's a fact that you are part of the ward. So you're not the awards IDPs. That explains how the bigger problems of the entire ward are going to be resolved. But Councillor, we also understand that the reason we want to entertain them now, because they had already put a petition, and we have, in terms of the act, we have a responsibility to come back to them, because it was a proper petition that was accepted by the committee. Because now a petition, it goes different stages to be approved as a petition. So we accepted that there is a petition and we are dealing with it. But as a general rule, we would want them to be part of the community, because they don't live in an island, but they had a peculiar situation of who owned those houses, because that was an issue basically, because they were not getting help because there was an issue about the ownership of these properties. So that's what the petition was about, and we're saying the petition, in terms of how we have attended to it, we are satisfied that the municipality has responded to some issues of the petition. But there are issues that we think the municipality must deal with. But then there are issues of Ward 2. We can't run away, because if we do that as public representative, we are likely to then have complaints from other communities, because Ward 2 will then say, but no, but legislature, you are only talking about a section of Ward 2. Yet there are problems. For example, probably the problems of sewer are not just for that area, are a problem of Ward 2. But we are responding to a petition today, and I thought I've concluded about the next steps that we're going to take, but to conclude on this petition, and then be satisfied that the municipality is dealing with the whole issues. But we're not going to say, no, municipality, leave all other areas in Ward 2 and do the Franklin petitioners, because that's how they call themselves in the petition. So I'm saying there are things that we think are urgent, that are responding to the petition, because we must also follow the law in terms of how we respond to the petition. So that's what we are doing. The exercise today was about that, and then we will follow up, because the petition, it's a petition, we must just respond to it. Unfortunately, that's what we're doing here. But I made that comment, Councillor, that there is a danger of any community to treat itself outside the bigger community. We must also always be careful about that, because you will then start responding piecemeals, yet everyone has probably the same problems or bigger problems. As Ms. Ellen was saying, that some communities are already putting shacks. Those people are not putting shacks because they love staying in shacks. It's because they are in need of housing, and the resources are not enough for everyone. So those are the issues that the government must grapple with, how those communities are assessed to settle in correct places as well. You can't just put a shack anywhere. So those are things that we will want to say, look, our people are desperate, but let's channel them so that they are not, because sometimes if you put this shack, you are actually frustrating the infrastructure process that needs to go somewhere, because people don't know that there might be a pipe underneath that needs to go, and there's a sewer, there's a shack already that you are not able to go through. So I'm saying our communities also needs to know how to handle their frustrations and their needs as well. So let's conclude, colleagues, about the Franklin issue. I think the municipality has made certain commitments. that we need, our team is taking notes. We will have to follow it up, and we will visit that area. But I have no doubt that the municipality will go there. The MM said that they will send even a team on Monday to look at what is doable now, just to, you might not get the whole comfort, but just to remove those urgent things so that because we're also living under difficult times of COVID-19. So we must be seen to be responding to some of the issues that might put our communities even in more danger. So colleagues, I want us to conclude on that. We will then move on, deal with the meeting of today. Agreed. Thank you very much. Siyabonga kakhulu kusho ukuthi ke abasebenzi base-legislature nani bazoxhumana nani nomasipala just to say siya kanjani phambili. Kodwa kukhona nathi sizokukhulumisana nomasipala ikakhulukazi lokwa human settlement, because I think ikhona indlela okufanele kube ne-intervention ngayo. Ngeke ukuthi uhulumeni wodwa uthi ngeke ngikwenza ukuthi ngoba kukwenzeka ukuthi, kusho ukuthi makuzokwenzeka 20 years uhulumeni uzothi hayi no salindwe. Ngeke uhulumeni usebenze kanjalo. So uhulumeni owodwa noma sihlukene kodwa so uhulumeni owodwa. Thank you very much colleagues. Ngicela ukuqhubeka ne-program. Sanibonani molweni. Ngicela nje ukuxolisa ngokuthi sesiqale isikhathi sesihambe kakhulu. Njoba nizwile nje sikwitiza ngoba bekunomhlangano bekuvunyelwa ukuthi kuzoqalwa ngawo, wasuqala sekudlula isikhashanyana. Ngicela ke ukunemukela kulomhlangano sizozama nje ukudibanisa izilimo. Ngicela nje ukuthi ngethulo kwamanje amalunga bese ngizocela ukhansela ukuthi welcome kumasipala wase Greater Kokstad. Kodwa ngicela ukuthula amalunga akhona la phambili. Ngizoqala ngomne wethu ngapha kulesandla sami sesinxele, umhlonishwa umncwango oyilunga lekomiti la kwa Public Participation and Petitions. Baba umncwango. Eduze kababa umncwango kuhlela umfowethu uSeja ngimbiza ngebheleke mina. Umhlonishwa naye esinaye kuleli komiti. Eduze kwami kunodadewethu umhlonishwa uNtshangase naye oyilunga lale komiti. Eduze kwakhe kunomhlonishwa uChiliza oyilunga le komiti naye la kwa Public Participations and Petitions. Ulama television ethu khona abanye abahlonishwa abasijoyinile, kunomhlonishwa uRaj Barnes okhona naye kulomhlangano. Angazi noma bayakwazi ukumveza laba baphathi. Omunye umhlonishwa okhona kulabo television umhlonishwa uCele naye oyilunga lekomiti. Igama lami nguSifiso ngwaKwaSonjica, nami ngiyilunga lale komiti, ngiphathiswe ukuthi ke ngibe usihlalo walo leli komiti. Ngitholile ke isixoliso sikamhlonishwa uMadlopha othathwe omunye umhlangano oseGoli. Sihambisana ke nabasebenzi be-legislature ngoba baningi mangase nje ngithi avele basukume nibabone kwenzela ukuthi abasebenzi esiphuma nabo kwi-legislature. So ngiyenzela ukuthi nje nibabone kwenzela ukuthi makhona ezinye izinto nimdonse nje noma oyedwa nithi ayikutho umsebenzi legislature ezinye izinto mhlambe sophuma singayixazululile ngaphambi kokuba ngiqhubeke ke nokuchaza ukuthi umhlangano wani namhlanje angicele umama ukhansela wayeza ukuthi asemukele kumasipala ngiyazi ngiyamhijacka kodwa ke ngoba usopolitiki siholela khona vele ukukhuluma akena umunicipal manager leader la uleader politician umunicipal manager so sizocela ukhansela nje asemukele akuyona politician kufanele ihlale kulindele ukukhuluma sondela khansela na umunicipal manager uphethe ukhansela
molweni mandibonge dinamkele nonke kulomhlangano cela ukuthi nizifile ni free nikhulule ibhatyi siqhubeke nomhlangano ngibonga kakhulu siqhubeke umhlangano ngokusemthethweni enkosi kakhulu ndiyabonga
siyabulela ngathi osopolitiki bangathetha njengawo mama hey bathetha into engapheli osopolitiki bathetha kakhulu siyabulela ke khulumani ke isibhashi bahlekazi honorable Mazibuko ngiyazwa ukuthi ukhona emhlanganweni uxolo nzima mfowethu abangihlebelanga la ukuthi ukhona siyakwemukela umhlonishwa uMazibuko naye ukuthi ukhona kulama television ngoba naye uyilunga lale committee ngiyacela ke ukuthi ngizame nje ukuchaza kafushane ukuthi umhlangano wani lo kodwa ke abasebenzi ke sebeyoba sebengena ke kabanzi ekuthenini kwenziwani namhlanje umhlangano ke lo wenziwa yonke iminyaka amakomiti ahlukahlukene nathi ke singiyikomiti lokubambisana nomphakathi nezikhalazo zomphakathi kuvunyelwane ukuthi asize eGreater Kokstad eHerigwala district kulonyaka ngiyazi ukuthi khona elinye ikomiti elikhona kulomasipala futhi namhlanje so ke inhloso yethu ukuzochazela umphakathi ukuthi njengekomiti legislature ngoba thina akasilona ikomiti le department asifani namakomiti eminyango la wona soke ezochaza ngentuthuko nokuthi isabelo semali zawo zime kanjani azoyisebenzisa kanjani thina siyikomiti lesishaya mthetho so asireport eminyangweni kahulumeni kodwa sinohlelo nathi lokuchaza ukuthi ikomiti lethu lenzani kwenzela ukuthi umphakathi yonke yazi ukuthi amakomiti legislature noma shaya mthetho asebenza kanjani yini futhi akubheke ukuthi ayenze so inhloso yalomhlangano ke nathi ukuzochaza ubahlali base Greater Kokstad manje ngijwayele ukuya kwelinye ihholo ku Ward 8 la ngazi noma sengikwenye ihholo la sekwenye ihholo la Ward balo Ward 5 oh lela holo sengijwayele kakhulu so ke kusho ukuthi ke ngokuhlakanipha kwabantu abahlelayo bakhethe ukuthi sibe se-Ward 5 namhlanje kodwa ikakhulukazi njoba ngifuna ukuyicacisa lento ngoba akekho ungqongqoshe lana thina siyabantu ababheka ukuthi iminyango isebenza kanjani kodwa nathi siyikomiti lesishamthetho siyathanda ukuthi umphakathi wazi ukuthi senzani mabe nezikhalazo bazibhala kanjani bazisa kubani akudingeki ukuthi uzukwazi ukubhala for ikomiti uma uletha isikhalazo kule komiti lethu ukuthi nje ube nesikhalazo bese sithi abasebenzi bethu abasilandele babone ukuthi isikhalazo ngokosigaba somthetho sokulandelayo sisemthethweni yini masingekho emthethweni bakulekelela ukuthi senziwe sibe semthethweni bese siyakwazi ukusilalela njoba siqale la ekseni mhlawumbe kade nizwa sithethe isilungu la ingoba kunomphakathi wenze isikhalazo wase Franklin sesineminyaka eminingi ngeke lesikhalazo besifuna ukusiqedela ngoba nathi sasingakafiki nokufika legislature kodwa sasifika sikhona ngenhlahla abanye abahlonishwa ababekhona njengomfowethu umhlonishwa uMncango nomhlonishwa uMazibuko okade baba khona kuleli komiti So ke ikomiti leli elilalela ikhalazo zomphakathi licubungule bese lithinta abathintekayo ukuthi abayixazulule. Kungaba umnyango kahulumeni, kungaba umasipala ukuthi naye inkinga endaweni ethile. Labantu sesibalalelile siyezwa futhi isikhalazo sabo sisemthethweni kufanele sixazulule. Bese senza ke inhlelo zokuthi luze lixazulele udaba. Ikomiti lethu ke mangalichaza kafushane ilokho. So namhlanje umsebenzi wethu ukuzo abasebenzi bethu bazosikhuluma bazozama nje ngoba ngiyazi ukuthi mawusebenza ngesilungu njalo ugcina ungathi ukhuluma isilungu bazozama nje ukutolika. Ngiyazi ukuthi ilimi yiningi ikakhulukazi ngapha kuneSixhosa kuneSotho kuneSizulu. Ngiyazi abasebenzi sihamba nabo bazozama ukugxila ekutheni kwilanguage esizozama ukuthi sizwe sonke. Kungenzeka bangathethi ilanguage yakho kodwa sizozama nje ukuthi sizwane ukwenzela ukuthi nikwazi nani ukuba ingxenye yomhlangano. Kodwa sizobuye sisike ngoba sikunoza kwethu abakhona mhlawumbe abangezwa kodwa futhi umhlangano lo olalelwe ubo bonke abantu abako TV abako Twitter nako Facebook. So kuyafuna ukuthi silandelane sonke emhlanganweni. So ke angifuni ke ukumosha isikhathi ngoba isikhathi sethu sesiqale sekudlule i-hour lonke kanti bathi laba bezempilo akufanele sihlale endaweni evalekile isikhathi eside kakhulu ezwele. Ngiyafisa nje ukuqala ngingakabiza udadewethu ozosichazela ngokuthi ke yini umthetho lo wezikhalazo noma ama petitions o advocate. Ngicele nje bakithi ukuthi angazi noma niyabona yini ukuthi le COVID ibuye ngamandla. Abantu bakuthi bayasweleka futhi abantu bakuthi abaninzi bayifumana esingcwabeni le COVID. Siyacela ukuthi uhulumeni nimlekelele nani ukuzama ukubambisana nokuthi silwe nale COVID ngoba masingabhekile yona ikhona insizwa eyisihlobo sami naye eshonele ubaba wayo yobishonele ubaba wayo kade ingcaba uma wayo a week ago. Josihleli lana sithola ama message abantu eSouthern Cape ushona ubaba wakhona kwashona uma wakhona kwashona ingane yakhona kwashona ingane yakhona. Thetha ngabantu abafundile laba ama chartered accountants ababulawa yiCovid. Usisi wazokhipha abantu emhlanganweni. Sorry sis. Labo bakhiphayo bakweminye umhlangano. Attendeni sisukungangiphazamisela umhlangano umuntu angaphuma nga1 phela manje usiphazamisela umhlangano mawuzovela ubiza abantu bonke emhlanganweni. Usiphazamisela umhlangano kakhulu sisi ngoba phela umuntu angasukuma nje ayobamba itiye awukwazi ukuthatha bonke abantu emhlanganweni ngoba inkinga bazofuna ukubuza imibuzo esesiyiphendulile yabo. Sorry sis, anikhuzeni wenonto lo sis lo egqoka into ebomvu. Umhlangano sis lo umhlangano nje uphathwa ngendlela ethile. Uxolo kodwa nje umuntu oyedwa angasukuma ayothatha ijuice noma itiye manje lo sisi uyona mevele ekhipha bonke abantu emhlanganweni ngoba inkinga yomhlangano ukuthi sizokhuluma nga something noma sithethe ngento ubuye uzoyibuza kanti sesiyithethile leyo nto uzoyibuza because ubungekho emhlanganweni. So umhlangano nje uphathwa ngohlelo olune order futhi ke umhlangano wesishamthetho lo so kunendlela ephathwa ngayo imhlangano. Siyacela nje ukuthi sibambisane asisho ukuthi abantu bangayi kodwa makuvele kuphuma wonke umuntu aye emhlanganweni ayothatha nje izosenzela ukuthi umhlangano wethu ungahambi ngendlela ene order. So bengisachaza ukuthi siyacela bakithi nani maniphuma emakhaya nolushumayela ivangeli lokuzama ukuyivikela kuyi-COVID ngoba kungazuthi kulo December isibuye ngamandla amakhulu. Into lesicela nje ukuthi umphakathi ubambisane nohulumeni ngoba akekho uhulumeni ofuna ningajabuli kodwa futhi akekho uhulumeni ofuna abantu abaholayo basweleke. Wonke uhulumeni ulindele ukuthi abantu baphile nezibhedlela zethu zingabe nenkinga ngoba the more sigula sonke the more soba nenkinga yezibhedlela. Ngiyazi nje la ukuthi sinenkinga yezibhedlela seyagcwala because siservice abantu bala eGreater Kokstad, sesabantu abasuka koMzimkhulu, sesabantu abasuka eEastern Cape. So ke masingase sigule sonke sizogcina kuthiwa hayi le ibhedlela abantu balala phansi kanti indawo ayikho. Ithina esingayiphathanga kahle. Siyacela nje bakithi kulento yeCovid ukuthi silekelelane neziphathimandla zikahulumeni nemkhandlu namakhansela silalele imithetho esinikwa yona ukuthi singatheleleki ngesifo sale COVID. Ngicela ke bakithi ngaphandle ukuchitha isikhathi ngoba sengizosilimit isikhathi. Ngicela udadewethu uadvocate Masondo ozozama ukusihumshela lo mthetho lekomiti lisebenza ngaphansi kwalo. Bese ke emva kwakhe ngizonika futhi udadewethu uGatsheni naye achaze ngendlela elandelwayo yokwenza ikhalazo noma imbiko ekomidini. Emva kwalokho ke sobe sesidedela indlu ukuthi sithathe imibuzo siyobe sesiphendula sonke nabahlonishwa nabasebenzi belegislature. Angidedele ke uadvocate Masondo ukuthi asichazele laba banamapeni bathatha ama notes nje ngoba emva kwakhe sodedele omunye futhi ozokwenza naye yakhe ipresentation bese sithatha imibuzo emva kwalokho. Siyabonga kakhulu. Advocate Masondo.
Ngiyabonga sihlalo. Ngibingelele amalunga esishayamthetho esihamba nawo kuleli group lethu. Ngibingelela umphakathi esinawo la namakhansela esinawo phakathi kwethu. Njengoba usihlalo ke beseshilo ngizokuthula nje kafishane KwaZulu-Natal Petitions Act number 4 of 2003. Ngiyathemba ukuthi besiwaphathile ama-copies e-act lapha eminyango kunamabhukwana amancane. La nje ngizochaza kafishane ukuthi yini le act, ihlose ukwenzani, isebenza kanjani. Kunama copies presentation lengenza ngiyacabanga ukuthi yiwona lawo baqeda ukwa distributor njengamanje. Ngizozama ukuqhubeka ngaso isiZulu bese ukuthi mhlambe la engibambeka khona uzakwethu nange lapha. Ukhona umuntu uzakwethu sisuka naye kaHansard ngithi okay. Inhloso ke enkulu yalo mthetho okhona njengamanje ukuthi uveze ukuthi umphakathi unaliphi ilungelo malana nokwenza isethulo lapha eshamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal. Uphinde futhi lo mthetho uqhubeka uchaza ukuthi ke uma kukhona umuntu ke onesifiso sokwenza leso sethulo yiziphi izinto akufuneka ayiqikelela ayilandele ukuze leso sethulo sakhe samukeleke lapha eshamthetho. Uphinde futhi lo mthetho uqhubeke uchaze ngemisebenzi noma ngezinto okufuneka zilandelwe ileli komiti njengoba likhona lapha phakathi kweni namhlanje lihleli la ngaphambili. Phinde futhi beke imigomo ethile ekufuneka ilandelwe ukuze umphakathi ukwazi ukubamba iqhaza kuzo zonke izinto ezenzakalayo kuhulumeni nakhona futhi esishayamthetho. Nangoke umphakathi useyafisa ke manje ukuthi asifake lesi sikhalazo sakhe. Uyachaza kumthetho la ukuthi iziphi izinto okufanele mayise sifakile lesi sikhalazo ayilindele ukuthi zilandeleke ngokwalolu hlelo. okusho ukuthi ke isisombululo umuntu asuke esicela ngokufaka kwakhe leso sikhalazo esokuthi kufuneka sihambisane isisombululo sakhona nomthetho sisekelo wezwe. Akakwazi umuntu ukuletha i-petition noma isikhalazo abesefuna into engahambisani nomthetho sisekelo wezwe. Nanokuthi leyo nto asuke ishisa umuntu ofaka isicelo kufuneka kube yinto ihambisana namandla that i-province enayo. Ngamanye amazwi lapha ku-constitution yethu kunengxenyana la kuhlukaniswa khona ukuthi lezi zinto lezi zingaphansi komthetho kazwelonke noma wesifundazwe noma womasipala, okusho ukuthi njengoba thina siyishamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal singena kule ngxenye le yesifundazwe, okusho ukuthi amandla ethu limited noma amiswe ngokwemthetho ehambisana nemithetho yesifundazwe okuyikwaZulu-Natal kwi-case yethu. So okusho ukuthi i-functional area noma ama-powers amandla ikomiti elinawo ngokwalo mthetho esisebenza ngawo ukuthi akakwazi umuntu ukuzosilethela mhlawumbe isikhalazo othola ukuthi njengesifundazwe saKwaZulu-Natal kungale kwamandla eswanyuko umthetho sisekelo wethu. Sizokhumbula ukuthi la kuhulumeni kuneminyango eyahlukene, uthola ukuthi eminye yaleyo minyango ikuzwelonke kuphela ayikho eyifundazweni. Okusho ukuthi thina ke njengeshamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal uma isikhalazo sakho siqondene nomnyango okuzwelonke kuphela ongekho esifundazweni akuyona into esingakwazi ukuthi siyilandelele siyisebenze. Kodwa futhi akusho ukuthi makunjalo ngeke sizisithathe isikhalo sakho, sizosithatha kodwa bese sesidlulisela eminyangweni lowo oqondene naleso sikhalo yize noma kungasuka umnyango okhona kwesifundazwe okusuke kuwumnyango mhlambe kazwelonke. Okusho ukuthi kodwa ke ukuxhumana kwakho seke bexhumana directly nalowo mnyango. Umuntu kofaka isikhalo zikhona ke izinto ezibalulekile kulomthetho ukuthi iziphi izinto angakwazi ukucela ukusizakala kuzona. Angacela ukuthi mhlambe kubuyekezwe umthetho okhona olawulwa isifundazwe, kungenzeka kube umthetho osahlongozwa ongakaphasiswa noma kube umthetho vele osukhona osusebenza osuwashayo. Angacela futhi ukuthi ikomiti libheke ukuthi inqumo ezithathwe la kumnyango kahulumeni mhlambe umbhali we-petition abone ukuthi mhlambe leyo department noma lowo mnyango awuzange ubukisise kahle zonke izikhalazo zakhe noma zonke izidingo zabo, bese ke icela ukuthi ikomiti libukisise leyo nto. Iphinde futhi lo mthetho ubese uyabala ke indlela noma inyathelo leli komiti ongafuneke zibheke noma ziyilandele ukuze kubonakala ukuthi lesi sicelo noma lesethulo esenziwe umhlalo wase South Africa wase KZN zilandeleke ngendlela yini. Nanoma isiphi ke esinye ke isinqumo mhlawumbe usomlomo angaboni ukuthi sifanelekile ukuthi kulandelwe leyo petition sesiyobe sisasebenza ngaleso sikhathi. Lo mthetho ke uyachaza ukuthi sifika kanjani lesethulo kwishaya mthetho nokuthi mase sifikile iziphi izinto leli komiti kufanele lizilandele ukwenza isiqinisekiso. Njengoba kade siqale ngomhlangano la before uqale lo mhlangano womphakathi wase Franklin nabo babekade benza isethulo eshaya mthetho sasesilethwa kuleli komiti. Ubona ke manje sekwenziwa ama-updates nokuthi sigcine ukufika kwakade kuthenjisweni yini esiyenziwe yini engakenzeki. Nabo babesebenzise lo mthetho ukuthi belethe isithulo sabo noma isikhalo sabo kwishaya mthetho. Okokuqala ke le petition noma lesethulo singenziwa kunganoma liphi ulimo olusemthethweni eNingizimu Afrika, njengoba sazi ukuthi iNingizimu Afrika inezilimi ezi-official noma ezisemthethweni eziwu-11. Akukhathalekile ukuthi usebenzisa luphi lolu limi nje esizofika ngalo. Thina lapha ngaphakathi sinayo i-unit noma ingxenyana ezokwazi ukuthi isisize ukuthi silitolike lelo petition noma leso sicelo ngolimi ikomiti elisuke lizosiqonda ngaso. Uma selifikile ke lesisethulo sifikela lapha ya kwi-unit ekhona ngaphakathi eshamthetho lowo osuke ejutshiwe ukuthi kubo yena odila naleso sethulo uyeke bese evula ke ifile alibhalise ebese ke ethumela incwadi kubantu basoke besilethile lesethulo sokuthi sisitholile isethulo sesizobukwa ukuthi siyahambisana nalezi zinto ezibalwe lapha emthethweni bese ngeke ngaqala ngazo. Masihambisana siyobe sesithulwa ke komitini ukuthi nasi isikhalazo noma nasi isethulo esiphuma kumuntu thize noma esiphuma kumphakathi thize bese ikomiti ke liyasidingida. Ukubheka ukuthi siyahambisana nalezi zinto sisuke sizolethwa ke kumeleli kwezomthetho wekomiti ukuze aqinisekise ngempela ukuthi lezi zinto ezibaliwe zihambisana ngaloku okubhalwe lapha kumthetho lo uyi-Petitions Act. Kuya ngokuthi ke masifika leso sethulo sifika ngaluphi ulimi. Masifika mhlambe ngesizulu noma ngesixhosa noma ingaluphi ke ulimi noma isibhunu bese ke nje bade ngishilo sithola ukuthi sitolikeke ngendlela ikomiti ngolimi ikomiti elisuke lizokwazi ukusiqonda ngaso. Usihlalo ke wekomiti mayisetsheliwe ngale sethulo esuke sifikile kusuke sekufanele ke leso sethulo si present noma sethulo ke phambi kwekomiti ke manje ukuze ikomiti likwazi ukuthi ke libuke ukuthi iyona yipi indlela engalandeleka ukuze kudile nalesethulo. Yize noma kubhaliwe ke lapha ngokomthetho ukuthi kufanele lokwenzeke emasontweni amabili kodwa into eyekisilawule kakhulu kuloko ukuthi ngokwama program noma ngokwezinhlelo ezikhona lapha eshamthetho iluphi usuku oluseduze abangakwazi ukusinikeza lona laba abaphethe program yethu okungenzeka ke kwesinye isikhathi adlule lo 2 weeks ikomiti lingakakwazi ukuthi lize emphakathini noma lize kulabantu basobelethe isethulo kodwa ukuphela kwa 2 weeks akusho ukuthi lisuke lingayitholanga ikomiti sethulo kusuke kuchaza nje ukuthi silinde ukuthi size sinikezwe islot noma ithuba lokuthi size njengoba sikhona futhi namhlanje. Kumele ke ikomiti likwazi ukumazisa lo ofaka isethulo ukuthi isithulo sakhe sesifikile ke phambi kwekomiti ngoba khumbula incwadi yokuqala isuke iphuma kumsebenzi ophuma kule unit eveza ukuthi sisitholile siyasiprocessa sizoya ekomitini. Noma sesifikile ke ekomitini kusifuneka ikomiti lisho ukuthi hayi isethulo sakho sesiphambi kwethu ke manje mhlambe makhona la ikomiti lingacaciselekile khona likwazi ukuhlela usuku lokuthi siyofika ke lapho nikhona kulowo mphakathi sizozisisa kahle ukuthi isikhalo senu simayelana nani njengoba kwakwenzekile eFranklin abahlonishwa sebeshilo. Bese kuyachaza futhi kuya leyo ncwadi ukuthi isiphi ke isinyathelo ikomiti esizosithatha ukuze sidile naleso sikhalo. Yize kunjalo ke ziba khona izinto eziyeke zenze ukuthi yize noma isethulo sesifikile ekomitini ikomiti kodwa lingakwazi ukudila naleso sethulo. Zibaliwe ke lapha kwi-act yethu njengokuthi nje mhlambe umuntu afune into engahambisani nomgomo we-constitution yethu noma umuntu afune into othola ukuthi ngokwamandla alapha kumthetho sisekelo amandla esingenawo thina njengeshamthetho ngokuhlukanisa kwamandla einhlaka zikahulumeni noma umuntu mayefuna ukuthi kuguqulwe into esuke inqunywe inkantolo yomthetho asinawo ukuthi namandla njengeshamthetho ukuthi mangabe usibhalela uthi nganginecala elithile noma umfowethu wayinecala elithile lamlahla manje thina sihambisana naleso sinqumo asinawo amandla ngoba ukusebenza kohulumeni kuhlukene khona izinkantolo khona abashayi bomthetho khona uhulumeni okwama departments. So njengoba kunaleko okuthiwa ama separation of powers akufanelekile ukuthi inhlaka ethile kahulumeni izithole isiqhambukela emsebenzini wenhlaka. Lapho ngichaza ukuthi uma ngabe unganelisekile ngesinqumo esisuke sithathwe inkantolo ulilungelo lokuthi ulidlulise icala kwinkantolo engaphezulu kwaleyo, not ukuthi isikhalo sakho uzosithula kuthina because isikhalo thina singeke sikwazi ukusenza lutho leso. Noma mangabe umuntu elethe isethulo ngodaba oluphambi kwenkantolo olungakaqulwa olungakaqedwa, asikwazi futhi ukusilalela ke isikhalo esinjalo sokuthi wena unecala enkantolo ethile kodwa manje kukhona okuthile ungakuboni kahle. Ngaso isizathu esifanayo sokuthi i-process leyo ekufuneke iqale iqedwe yinkantolo ngaphandle kokuthi kube khona omunye umnyango noma olunye uhlaka kahulumeni olungenelelayo kuleyo nto. Okunye futhi engicabanga ukuthi kuyalinka kulokho engiqeda ukusho ukuthi isethulo futhi asikwazi ukuphuma kumuntu mhlambe oboshiwe osejele ecomplaina noma ekhalaza ngendlela icala lakhe elaphathwa ngayo, ngoba kusabuyela kule nto engishoyo ukuthi ke uhlaka oluhlukene lwahulumeni esingeke sikwazi ukuphazamisa ukusebenza kwalo. Uma ngabe lowo muntu enenkinga ngecala lakhe kufuneka alandele imigudu ngokusebenza kwezinkantolo nokuxhumana nabameli bahulumeni. Okunye futhi engeke ikwazi lenkantolo le committee ukudila nalo izinto eziphambi noma ezidingidwa i-commission yophenyo, commission of inquiry. Njengoba nje kukhona i-commission ehleli njengamanje esiyaziyo sonke edumile kaJaji Zondo, enye inhlobo le ye-commission of inquiry, okusho ukuthi ke ngoba abakhona bemaningi ama-commission ahlukene endaweni adila ke izinto ezihlukene. Ngoba leyo commission isuke isethwe ngokomthetho odila nama-commission, kufuneka mangabe kukhona ungahambi kahle noma okhalaza ngakho kwenzeka kuleyo commission ukwazi ukulandela imigudu yaleyo mthetho esuke kuyiyona igunyaze ukuhlala kwaleyo commission. Okunye futhi kuthola ukuthi kunezinto mhlambe umuntu ofaka isethulo angakhala ngazo ngokuthi kuchibiyelwe noma kushintshwe umthetho othile, kodwa umuntu ofaka isethulo angakhombisanga ukuthi usezame yonke into angayizama but usehlulekile, okusho ukuthi njengoba sila usamukelile ukhansela ngokwamawodi ahlukene kunokhansela abahlukene, siyagqugquzela siyishamthetho ukuthi uma wakhile unenkinga uqala kulezo zakhiwo zomphakathi ezikhona la wakhe khona. Uma uthola ukuthi awusizakali khona udlulile phambili, bese kuba khona la ozivela usuku uzofika khona bese uvela uyanqindeka ungabusazi ukuthi konje emva kwalokhu manje sengizoyaphi, ngoba sengile ekukhansela ngaya mhlambe nase-ofisini kamasipala ngaya nakuphi nakuphi, kodwa manje angisazi ukuthi sengizophuma ngishonephi ngoba akukho la ngisizakala khona. Ukuze ke leli komiti likwazi ukuyibukisisa isethulo sakho, kufuneka ukwazi ukusitshengisa ukuthi ngaye endaweni ethile angangakuthola ukusizakala ngatshelwa lokhu, kwathiwa ngisuke khona ngiye kuphi, nalapho futhi la kwathiwa ngiye khona ngaya nakhona angisizakalile. Siyibone leyo process ukuthi uyihambile kuqala before uze kuthina, ngoba asize singathanda ukuthi siphazamise ukusebenza kwey'nhlaka zikahulumeni ezikhona zingakaluzwa udaba lakho, zingakalisebenzi noma zingakakukhombisi ukuthi zihlulekile, ngoba sizama ukubalekela kona lokho ukuthi sizithole manje sesenza noma sesiqhambukela emsebenzini yabantu bebe bekhona bengatsheliwe futhi ngey'nkinga ey'khona. Ikomiti ke le linawo amandla lokuthi limcebise lo muntu osuke ethula isithulo ukuthi iziphi izinto mhlambe angazenza ukuze asizakale. Noma ikomiti liyakwazi ukuthi luthathe udaba oluphambi kwayo libuke ukuthi engathi ngokwamakomiti akhona lapha esishamthetho nali ikomiti okuyilona ngempela mhlambe elingakwazi ukuthi limsize lo muntu likwazi ukudlulisa udaba lwalo. Njengoba besikhuluma futhi la ekseni siqala nge-Petition Franklin, ikhona into eke yakhulumeka ngokuthi kwakufuneke kube khona mhlawumbe umnyango wezezindlu okufuneke uxhumeke noma ikomiti lelo ukuze kube ilona elizobonelela ukuthi labantu ngaleli khala banazo bayakwazi nokusizakala. Liyakwazi ikomiti ukuthi lifike esinqumeni sokuthi ayi ngoba thina njengaleli komiti sesikwazile ukwenza 1 2 no 3 siyacabanga ukuthi labantu njengoba bekade besibhalelile benase isikhalazo nje bathina sesibathathe sababeka eminyango umnyango othile sebezokwazi ukuthola ukuthi basizakale sesingalivala thina lesethulo or leli file elisuke kade livuliwe noma uma ngabe kutholakala isombululo salesikhalo ngathi siyatholakala asekho isidingo sokuthi leli file isale livulekile seliyakwazi ukuthi lulivale udaba luphethwe kahle. Kuyenzeka ke ukuthi nje basisebenza sithunyiwe usomlomo weshamthetho sikwazi ukuthi sibe nalo ithuba njengaleli komiti lokuthi ke usihlalo mangabe kunokuhlala kwendlu okubizwa ngokuthi sitting legislature kube khona izethulo kusihlala azozenza ukuthi njengaleli komiti nanku ebesikade sikuthunyiwe nakama ama-petition noma ikhalo ebezilethwe kuthina sesikwazile ukuthi sizisebenze kanje kuleli nakho esikwenzile kuleli nakho esikwenzile kusho ukuthi kuba khona i-report noma isethulo esisuke sizowenziwa bese ke kuba ke kulabo abaphethe ukusebenza kwendlu ukuthi yiphi report engase idingidwe lapha eshayamthetho noma idebate ukuze kubonakala ukuthi lolo daba luya kanjani phambili. Zimbalwa ke izinto ezingenziwa yindlu zingathatha isinqumo ngokuvota ngama recommendation noma ngezethulo ezisuke zenziwe ikomiti noma indlu ingazichitha lezo zethulo ezisuke zenziwe ikomiti noma mhlambe kube khona izethulo ezingadluliswa zidluliselwe mhlambe eParliament elikhulu lapha eNational Assembly noma indlu bisithi cha engathi ikomiti noma nithi nilisebenzele lo daba kodwa alizange lisebenzeke kahle asike silibuyisele kunina niyobheka u1 2 no 3 bese mase nimbhekile lo 1 2 no 3 likhane nibuyisa kabusha ke ireport yenu kuthina ukuze sibone ukuthi lo daba lisebenzeka kanjani kuya phambili. Ngiyathemba ukuthi leyo presentation emfishane iyazama ukusonga ukuthi lo mthetho ke sisuke siwusebenzisa ukuze sithole izethulo sizisebenze usebenza kanjani. Ngiyabonga sihlalo.
Siyabonga kakhulu mhlonishwa advocate. Sicela udadewethu uGatsheni naye enze eyakhe presentation emva kwayo ke sobe sesithatha imibuzo neziphakamiso.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Sihlalo ngicela ukubingelela abahlonishwa la ngaphambili ngibingelele amakhansela akhona phakathi kwethu. Then ngibingelele uMM okhona, ngibingelele ozakwethu esihamba nayo. Bese ke ngibingelele umphakathi owenzile ithuba lokuthi uzosilalela namhlanje. Angizuba mude kakhulu ngoba udadewethu uMasonto ubesechazile okuningi. Ngizocela nje ukuqala nje ngichaze kancane ukuthi leli komiti njengoba lisebenza kanjani. Bese ke ngiyangena ke ngoqini yami. Ishayamthetho njengoba siyazi ukuthi mawusichaza ishayamthetho kuthiwa iyonandlu yomgwamanda ophezulu yokushaya umthetho. Ngifakile ama flyers awuthu lapho okuyiwona mhlambe siwafunda futhi kodwa noma ungalandeli nje ngawo ungakufunda ususekhaya ayikho inkinga. Ishayamthetho sitheke indlu yomgwamanda ophezulu yokushaya umthetho. Masibheka lapha kunebhena lapha ngasespeakeni. Ibhena yethu ichaza imisebenzi emithathu yesishayamthetho. Ishayamthetho umsebenzi wokuqala ukushaya umthetho njengoba bese ngishilo ukuthi ishayamthetho sishaya umthetho sichibiyele siphinde futhi sichithe imithetho. Mase kuukuthi umthetho usumdala kakhulu uyarepealwa lokho kuthiwa irepeal. Ishayamthetho ke noma ngabe kuthiwa siyashaya umthetho kodwa asinayo ilungelo lokuthi sishaye umthetho ozoklesha noma ungqubuzane nomthetho omkhulu iConstitution. So yonke imithetho esiyenzayo senza sure ukuthi ayiphambani neConstitution. Number 2, ishaya umthetho senze lokho okuthiwa i-oversight, ukuqapha ukusebenza. Uhlalo utheme eqala la wathi thina njengoba siyikomiti la ka-public participation asilona ikomiti i-portfolio committee. Ama-portfolio committee iwona aqapha ukusebenza kweshayamthetho. Yingakho-ke kukhona ikomiti le-arts and culture elihleli laphaya edolobheni ngoba lona lizoqapha ukusebenza kwama-department. Cha thina-ke asisebenzi kanjalo, siyi-standing committee. Ebese kuba khona-ke umsebenzi wesithathu obizwa ngokuthiwa i-public participation. I-public participation-ke iyona-ke esingayo namhlanje esizoyiqhakambisa siyikomiti. Ingakho ikomiti lethu libizwa ngokuthiwa i-public participation and petitions committee. Ngokomthetho sisekelo-ke mawungathi uvula umthetho sisekelo wakho uma unawo ekhaya uhambe uye ku-section 118 uthi umthetho sisekelo amalunga omphakathi kumele avunyelwe ukuthi azobamba iqhaza esishamthethweni nakuzo zonke izinto isishamthetho esizenzayo. Njengamanje ngizomchazela ukuthi yiziphi izinto ezenziwa isishamthetho ukuze nikwazi ukuzobamba iqhaza kuzona. Umthetho sisekelo-ke uwona kosho ukuthi uma singazange sinibambise iqhaza sesonile kakhulu ngisho nakumthetho sisekelo. Ngizocela ukunenzela isibonelo. Ngo-2006 isishamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal ne-National Parliament kwayiswa kumthetho sisekelo enkantolo. Safike sahlulwa lapho ngoba kwakuyokhulunywa indaba yokuthi kufanele kusuke idolobha laseMatatiyela liye ngase-Eastern Cape, kusuke elasemzimkhulu libuyiselwe e-KZN. Kwathi kwatholakala ukuthi asiyenzanga i-public participation. I-public consultation sathi masikalwa safumaniseka siyilula esikalini kwathiwa siwenzanga umsebenzi. So-ke laluzwa-ke icala kwathiwa siqale phansi senje i-consultation. Kwakuyi-section 13 amendment ngikhumbula kahle ngaleso sikhathi. So-ke saqala-ke senza ama-consultation safika nala eKokstad ukuze sikwazi ukuthi sifulfile leya role ebizwa ngokuthiwa i-public participation. Ngakho-ke masincenxa sinicela komasipala ukuthi sicela ni-athende, sisuke sizama ngakho konke okusemandleni ukuthi sizogcwalisa loya umsebenzi wesishamthetho we-public participation. Ngizocela-ke ukuthi-ke ngibheke-ke manje ukuthi uma kuthiwa bambani iqhaza esishamthetho, yiziphi indlela eningabamba ngazo iqhaza? Ngoba siyazi ukuthi isishamthetho sinezihlalo eziwu-80 kuphela. Angeke sonke sikwazi ukufinyelela kube namalunga esishamthetho. Kodwa-ke kuney'ndlela ey'ningi-ke singayisebenzisa. Ubesechazile-ke udadewethu uKhwezi njengoba kade echaza ngama-petition ukuthi i-petition kuyilungelo lakho lokuthi uyifake esishayamthetho. Uyifake emva kokuthi usuzame konke wahluleka. Ngokulimi lwesiNgisi kuthiwa you have to exhaust all the avenues ngaphambi kokuthi wenze njani ufake i-petition. I-petition-ke sishiloko ukuthi ingavela kwi-group. Yabona njengoba ninjena nje kanje ningasenzela